The Beast, whose canon name is Adam, is the secondary main character of the 1991 Disney film The Beauty and the Beast. To sum up his character, best said by his animator Glen Keane, he is a 21-year-old guy who's insecure, wants to be loved, wants to love, but has this ugly exterior and has to overcome this. So although we don't spend much time with him as a human, it's still abundantly clear that humanity was never really his strong point, beast or man. And what was missing all along was the right person to help him finally get a grasp on the concept for once in his life. The prince's story has been adapted many times over the ages, but I'll be sticking with his journey from the Disney version. And in case you're wondering, no, fuck the remake. Centuries ago in France, 11-year-old Prince Adam had it all. A gorgeous castle in a beautiful forest setting, materialistic luxuries, servants, everything. All except for one thing.
Bring me my presents!
Which was basic human decency. He was your typical spoiled rich kid of the worst kind. And it was on one Christmas Eve that his humility was finally put to the test when some old homeless lady shows up and offers him a singular rose in exchange for shelter.
Repulsed by her haggard appearance, the prince sneered at the gift and turned the old woman away. But she warned him not to be deceived by appearances, for beauty is found within.
Now, this may seem like a selfish act, but common sense says he's pretty justified in not just letting strangers into his home like that. Impressive instincts for a parentless Disney protagonist. So, this would technically mean that the prince is punished for being responsible? But no. It's being shallow that makes him a monster in this whole situation. This causes the homeless lady to go full-on enchanted Karen mode on the whole damn castle and everyone in it, even the forest. But as for the prince...
The prince tried to apologize, but it was too late, for she had seen that there was no love in his heart, and as punishment
for being responsible,
she transformed him into a hideous beast.
Before leaving, she gives him a magic mirror as a window to the outside world and all he's missing out on. She also enchants the rose, which I'll get to later. But basically, in order for him to break the spell, he must learn to love and receive love back. But this just makes him plunge into self-loathing despair. He even rips up his human picture, which, ironically, symbolizes the monster he was, resulting in the monster he is now. So for 10 whole years, he's been very cynical of the idea of ever finding love.
For who could ever learn to love a beast?
But on an even more serious note, there's a piece of info about the beast from the Disney Wiki that ups the ante on his situation. According to the film's producer, Don Hahn, the beast's spell is not just physical, but psychological as well. The longer the beast is under the spell, the more feral he becomes. Meaning, if he stays a beast longer, he becomes more like an animal. If Belle had never arrived at the castle, he would have eventually stopped speaking, walking upright, wearing clothes altogether, and would have gone to live in the woods among the wild animals to fend for himself. Can you imagine just what a horrifying concept this is? But it makes sense. He's been isolated from society for a decade with only his servants to keep him sentient at best. But over time, he forgets how to read and how to eat like a human. It's a miracle he can still speak full sentences. So this kid has spent nearly a whole decade stuck in that body and slowly succumbing to its primal nature. Damn. So one day, Maurice, an inventor, gets lost in the woods and seeks shelter within the castle. The servants are all accommodating, even eager to meet a new person. Well, except for Cogsworth. But the beast, however, upon learning yet another stranger is in his castle, makes it clear up front that newcomers are not welcome. Because the last time a stranger was here, yeah, he throws him into the dungeon. Not too long after, the inventor's daughter, Belle, comes to rescue him but is confronted by the beast, who refuses to release the old man.
There's nothing you can do. He's my prisoner.
Wait! Take me instead.
You take his place?
So after all these years of angry, self-loathing entitlement, it's refreshing to see that not all of his humanity was gone, even by spoiled rich kid standards. He has never witnessed such genuine love before but can recognize it. And at this very moment, he's probably thinking to himself, if this young woman is willing to sacrifice so much just for her aging father out of love, I wonder what she could do for me. He accepts Belle's offer and even feels bad about separating her from her only family, another inkling that there's still humanity in him. While showing Belle to her room, he sets a specific ground rule.
The castle is your home now, so you can go anywhere you like, except the West Wing.
What's in the West?
It's forbidden!
Then forces her to join him for dinner.
Oh, it's no use. She's so beautiful, well, look at me!
Oh, you must help her to see past all that.
I don't know how.
So even with the awareness that this girl can possibly save them, he's already cynical about things working out. Unsurprisingly, Belle doesn't want to come down to dinner, and instead of taking this moment to practice his manners, he acts like a bratty child.
Please attempt to be a gentleman.
It would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner.
No, thank you.
Fine! Then go ahead and starve!
This is the first time he's dealt with someone who's actively defied him. In the era the story is set in, women like Belle weren't very common, which is why everyone thought she was weird. But that's a good thing because the beast needs someone to challenge him for once. He's been surrounded by enablers his whole life. I can only imagine what very little progression would have been made if this was any other woman, if nothing at all. So yeah, Belle is definitely the one that can break the spell. And later on, she will continue testing him. Late into the night, after enjoying a big musical dinner that she never eats, she decides to break the Master's one rule and explore the West Wing. And there she learns why the West Wing was so off limits. Amidst all the destruction of the hallway and bedroom was the enchanted rose. The rose is possibly the biggest representation of what's left of the beast's humanity, as it symbolizes hope and second chances. Not just that, but it turns out, there's actually a time limit to the spell. The rose is only valid until the prince's 21st birthday, and before then it slowly starts to wilt. And he must find love before the last petal falls, otherwise the spell will never be broken. And seeing his blatant symbol of hope almost get destroyed by someone who's supposed to be his second chance, cancels out all of that, and there would be no point in falling in love at all. The beast snaps at Belle, causing her to leave altogether. Realizing his fuck up, he leaves the castle for the first time in ages, and does something genuinely selfless for once, such as saving Belle from a pack of wolves. This also doubles as a suicide attempt, but luckily Belle recognizes this genuine act of kindness, takes him back to the castle, and tends to his wounds. At this time, the two of them bicker some more before finally lowering their emotional walls.
By the way, thank you for saving my life.
You're welcome.
And from then on, the two slowly begin warming up to each other. Sometime after the wolf attack, the Beast realizes that it actually feels great to do nice things for others, and it makes him want to do more nice things for Belle, so he gives her the whole library. He was never a big fan of reading, especially after forgetting how to, but it is through Belle that he not only likes reading now, but also enjoys being read too, by Belle. So I feel compelled to mention the infamous Midquels, which presumably take place after Belle gets the library. I don't really know, but I really don't have much to analyze here, thank goodness. So let's just speed right through. The basic theme of both Midquels is the Beast having to learn how to change in more ways than one. Him saving Belle from the wolves and giving her his library are just two instances of displayed selflessness, which only demonstrates that he is indeed at best capable of good. But because a person does not just flip on a dime after one realization, he still needs to work at it to make his development grow and stick, cause he's still got a lot to work on with himself. So although these direct-to-video Midquels are shit, at least they succeed in establishing that Beast still has decades of his whole life worth of developing to do. And all the while, Belle continues helping him through the process of regaining the rest of his humanity while slowly realizing her own feelings for him. One night, the two get ready for their big romantic date. And after the dance, the Beast asks Belle if she is happy being his captive, and she admits that she still misses her father. So he lets her see how he's doing through the magic mirror, and Maurice is not doing too good.
He may be dying, and he's all alone.
Then you must go to him. I release you. You're no longer my prisoner.
I'm free?
Yes.
He even lets Belle keep the mirror as a remnant of her time with him, not even letting her know how he feels before her departure, because he recognizes that her feelings are more important in that moment. The Beast has managed to make some selfless gestures here and there, but this is possibly his biggest one. After spending a whole decade indulging in his own selfishness, plus another decade paying the price for it, he was fortunate enough to meet a woman who not only sees him as so much more than just one thing, but also helps him to see that and works with him to rebuild his humanity bit by bit. And just when it looks like he'll finally get his long-awaited second chance through her, he throws that all away because
I love her.
he understands now that just because he's a prince that's been given everything he wanted his whole life, it does not make him entitled to other people, including their love.
After all this time, he's finally learned to love.
That's it then. That should break the spell.
But it's not enough. She has to love him in return.
Now it's too late.
So he just completely shuts down, even when a fucking lynch mob comes in to kill him after learning of his existence. All led by Gaston. So just who is this Gaston? And what's his personal beef with the Beast? Well, it's certainly not because he's a sporty hunter. But if we're being honest here, he's the embodiment of all of the Beast's negative qualities. There are actually a lot of similarities between these two men. Both start off as short-tempered, entitled, and boorish jackasses. Both come from an environment that enables their behavior, and both want Belle to fall in love with them for selfish reasons. The Beast, however, as I said earlier, has proven himself susceptible to growth and will continue to prove himself the better human in just a moment. Wherein Gaston just got worse over time. His obsession with Belle has reached sinister heights at this point, going far as outing Belle's father as a crazy person, and having him committed as leverage to make Belle marry him. And when that doesn't work, he resorts to the "if I can't have you, no one can" mentality, outs the Beast as a threat to them all, and leads a lynch mob to go kill him. But when the rest of the mob gets scared off by the servants, Gaston stays to directly take down the Beast himself, who's so dejected by his loss that he doesn't even fight back. Until...
Belle.
No! Gaston! Oh!
I'm not finished yet!
During their showdown, the Beast gets the upper hand and prepares to throw Gaston down the cliff. But he doesn't go through with it. Gaston may be an irredeemable monster, but killing him would undo all of his own progress. Regardless if the spell could ever be broken by this point, all he knows is he does not want to go back to being that monster he was on the inside anymore. So he does the humane thing and lets Gaston live.
Get out.
So with Gaston out of the picture for good, Belle shares a moment with the Beast as he lies there dying. He says to her,
Maybe it's better this way.
he isn't so much saying this to relieve his own burden. He specifically says it out of Belle's best interests. In his final moments, he realizes that she deserves more than he could ever give to her, if setting her free didn't already spell it out. It's heartrending, but at the same time so authentic to see that in spite of all his progress, he's still an insecure guy deep down. And it's implied by just how genuinely surprised he was that she even came back at all, shows how he didn't expect to ever see her again. And seeing her face one last time is all the closure he needs before passing. But, lucky for him, he actually does get his second chance after all, as the last rose petal falls just seconds after Belle says,
I love you.
The spell breaks at long last, Belle and Prince Adam get married, everyone lives happily ever after, and that concludes Prince Adam's anti-journey. So yeah, the Beast story may not be the most original, but he is fictional proof that inner transformation outshines outer transformation easily. Which is why this film resonates with so many people for as long as it has. His journey from a selfish and bitter prince to a compassionate and giving human is not just heartwarming, but inspiring and even relatable. I'm pretty sure there's an insecure beast inside all of us. And through each new adaptation of the Beauty and the Beast, the general lesson behind these stories all remain the same. It teaches us how to just have some freaking humility. Because, let's be real, that appears to be lacking nowadays. His story is the story of most spoiled brats. They feel so above it all in the beginning, but reality hits them hard somehow, and the final ingredient is someone needed to humble them out manually. But he didn't just need Belle in terms of being taught the importance of compassion, empathy, and selfishness, but as of the Kingdom Hearts series, we see more of just how his love for Belle also allows him to go above and beyond with his strength and bravery. You know, that isn't just limited to fighting off a pack of scraggly wolves in a forest. Overall, the Beast and his arc will always teach the perfect lesson of self-improvement, personal growth, and most importantly, humanity. And that positive change is possible for anyone with the willingness and determination to want it. And sometimes, all it takes is the right person to give you motivation.